So we're just going to look at actually, people do struggle to stand up. And here's a few reasons why that you may want to address, or you may want to just be able to change quite quickly. One of the things that they do is not moving forward. So they try to sit up, particularly if this is a big soft comfy chair, and you try and get up. So, whoop, and you need quite a lot of momentum to do that. What we didn't do was, if you think about what was happening there, I was getting my weight from my bottom onto the feet, and that is a big distance, so I didn't move forward to the edge of the chair. So that will make it harder just in itself. You might get someone who actually will come forward in the chair, but they might do it like this. Now, as soon as you see somebody doing that, you start to wonder, are they actually unsure about their balance? Are they actually frightened of coming forward? There might be somebody who's had some falls. So they've actually done that by levering back with their head, and then what they try and do is they stand up from this position, like that. Problem being is they can't get up, they fall straight back down, or they get to there with their arms and then don't know what to do. So you need to be able to come forward, and one simple thing that you might actually get into practice is actually just leaning forward, coming towards the toes like that, so they can get a little bit more confident, maybe have someone sitting in front of them to help them practice that. So you have to be able to lean forward. You may get someone who the feet is all the way forward, so same problem, you can't get, if they're pushing back, the same problem, you won't be able to get up because you can't get up. So you need to have those feet back, you need to have them underneath your knees. If they're leaning back like that, you need to get them forward, but what they then might do, another thing they could do is actually squash their knees together. So they lever against their knees. Now when you come to stand up, and actually the effort of standing up is mainly done by these muscles here and your trunk. However, if you squash your knees together, you're actually using the muscles down the inside here. So if you squash them together, these ones here don't bother working, and what happens is, this is very exaggerated, but what happens is I don't physically feel as if I can tuck my bottom in, so I'm not all the way upright, I haven't got good balance, I haven't got that control. So you don't want the knees to be levering off each other. Another issue that you might have is that you have somebody who has a stuck ankle. It might be fixed, it might be stiff, they might have a splint on it, for example, so they might have a splint down there and like that. And what happens is in actual fact, when you come to stand up, you need your knees, you need your knees to come forward like that. There's what you need to do. And if you can't do that, when you then come up, that foot has to stay forward like so, and you can't get your balance forward onto it, and so you end up, the other leg does all the work, or actually you end up falling back down. So you may be able to alter that, you may not, that might just be a given, but that will be a reason why somebody maybe finds it difficult. Commonly, another thing that people do with their knees is, and you'll see what people do, is actually come forward. They come forward all right, but what they then do is they actually then straighten their knees and lever against the chair, and I might actually push it back. And sometimes you see them actually tip. And so if they lock their knees, you can't get upright here, you get stuck. So I've locked both my knees and I physically don't feel as if I want to be able to tuck my bottom in at all. So what you need to have those soft knees, and then you can come up. So levering against there is something you don't want to be doing. My toes are easily up off the floor, I haven't got good balance, so if I try to then set off walking in this position, I would be setting off from an unbalanced position as it was anyway. Okay, I hope that's been useful as some problems that people might have come to standing. Thank you. Commonly, another big issue can be with people who have got reduced mobility is, in actual fact, what they want to do is they want to pull themselves up. So they maybe grab onto people who are going to help them, so they're grabbing, they're pulling themselves up, and actually pulling yourself up is really difficult. I have got thin arms, I cannot pull my body weight up. If you gave me a chin bar, I wouldn't be able to do it. I can push myself up, the muscles we've got are great for pushing, so pulling almost renders their arms useless. So you don't want people going in under their arms and pulling them up either. If they're pulling up, they're actually pulling back the way here, and yet we want the weight to come forward. So what you always want to do is you always want to say to that person is, don't pull yourself up, because if they're pulling there, they'll just be actually quite far back and often will fail. So you want them to put their hands on the chair and then push. Muscles are strong for pushing and then come up, and then they can come back down. So that's quite a common thing that can happen. I hope that all those looking at all those problems might be helpful to you. Thank you very much.